These are the top 5 benefits of kettlebells for longevity. I think what's really insane about kettlebells is that the benefits that have been studied in kettlebell training and then the benefits that have been studied in longevity research actually align in a really insane way. So I'm just really excited to share just the amazing benefits of kettlebells and how it can help you feel better and move better for decades and to just live literally a longer, healthier life. So let's just get into it. So number 5 is posture. As we all know, we live in this, keyboard, computer, phone world where we're hunched over, looking down, and so many of us struggle with the text neck, where we're looking down with, back pain, and just kind of this hunched over posture. And the great thing about kettlebells is that it can really improve your posture through nothing magical, but just the specific exercise you choose. So one of the best ways I like to train this is through kettlebell carries, where you just take a kettlebell and you walk with it for a while. And the great thing about this is that you just naturally cannot do a kettlebell carry with bad posture. Like as soon as you pick up a kettlebell, your body literally wants to stand up straight, get your shoulders back, get your, hips aligned and just walk. Because if you're hunched over with the kettlebell, it's going to feel so uncomfortable and you just immediately realize just how much you need to have that good posture. And the thing about posture that sometimes people don't realize is that it's not supposed to be this manual thing where through the day you're literally thinking, oops, shoulders back, oh, back straight, hips aligned. It's supposed to be automatic. And the way it's automatic is by strengthening the parts of the body that help you improve your posture. So that's your shoulders, your back, your legs, your glutes, essentially, all the muscles in the back of the body. And what I found through doing kettlebell carries is that your posture just naturally improves. It's, I actually get complimented a lot on having good posture, and it always throws me off because I literally never think about it. I just have good posture from the kettlebell work. And it's not just carries, because a lot of the kettlebell movements are standing, even sometimes doing, arm workouts like a kettlebell press overhead or a kettlebell curl, you tend to just be standing. And so even when you're doing things that aren't even focused on posture, you really need to have good posture as you're doing this. And, especially things like kettlebell clean and press and kettlebell squat, you're just continuously having to be aware to have good posture when you're doing these movements. So that's, an incredible benefit where I've just noticed my posture being just honestly really great since doing kettlebells. And number 4 is grip strength. A lot of longevity researchers talk a lot about how grip strength has been shown to have a great correlation for living a long and healthy life. And, a lot of times people think that to do that, then you need to get one of those grip squeezers and keep squeezing it. And, while, that can help, a more natural way and really, explosive way to just increase your grip strength is to be using kettlebells because instead of, just holding it for a little bit, because of the complexes and chains, you really need to grip the kettlebell for a long period of time and grip it as you're doing all these complex movements like cleans and presses, carries, squats, swings, snatches, things like that. And so what I found from especially some of these complexes, like a clean press and squat strung together, I need to keep gripping the kettlebell so I don't, it doesn't fly off and break the mirror or break my leg or something like that crazy. I need to grip it really hard. And I've noticed that my grip strength is just really good. I can now do, a dead hang for quite a while. I think, if I really try to max it out, I think now I can hang for a couple minutes straight. If I do a kettlebell carry, even though I'm not doing anything too complex, because I just tend to go heavier with that, I just really need to grip. So if I'm doing, a 20 kg or 24 kg kettlebell carry, which is like 45 pound, 53 pound kettlebell carry, I really need to grip it so it doesn't, fall off as I'm walking with it. So that grip strength really helps. And the grip strength is correlated with all the, really natural strength you get in your day-to-day with helping people move, moving yourself, moving, houses yourself, carrying groceries. It just has really been shown to just improve that longevity through research, and kettlebells have been shown to improve that grip strength. In third place for top 5 benefits is building posterior chain strength and muscle. So I kind of alluded to this in talking about posture, but with kettlebells, everything in kettlebell training is really meant to build the posterior chain. And I know that's a kind of a, fancy scientific term. All that really means is the muscles and the back of your body. And this is really exciting because I think there's this double whammy of sorts with modern life and gym culture sometimes, where we're really hunched over and we're doing everything in front of us. So we're really weakening the back of the body. And then I think a lot of focus then gets on training the muscles that we see in the mirror, which isn't bad. It's good. It's good to train all the muscles of the body, but it gets prioritized. So what we have now in our day-to-day life is that we're weakening the back of our body, and then we go to the gym and really focus on strengthening the front of the body. So the back of the body gets really weak. Those are the muscles you might not think about: the rear delts, the upper back, the lower back, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves. So all those muscles really get trained with kettlebells because the main movements, the clean and press, the carries, even the squats, the way you have to kind of hold the kettlebell in the rack position and how that strengthens the upper back, you're going to build all those muscles I mentioned: the upper back, the lower back, the rear delts, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves. And those muscles have been shown to, when those muscles are strong, have been shown to improve quality of life and length of life, because those are kind of the muscles that really make you human. When you have those strong muscles, you're able to pick things up, you're able to carry them, you're able to put them overhead, you're able to have that good posture. But those three fundamental movements around picking things up, carrying them, and putting them overhead, those muscles in the back of your body really power those movements. And again, it's not to say things like your biceps or your chest or your quads don't matter. They do, but the posterior chain is really what kind of makes a night and day difference in your quality of life. And kettlebells just massively improve that. So I've seen that for myself. Ever since I started using kettlebells, I noticed the back of my body, the muscles and strength there are just exploded. And I just feel so functional for day-to-day life. And I think that's an amazing benefit. So the benefit in second place is a strong core. A lot of people get really focused on those six-pack abdominal abs, but that's actually only a part of your core. The six-pack, the rectus abdominis or something, that's part of your core. Then you have also the obliques, and you also have the lower back, and you have things called even the QL muscles in the lower back that really, getting those strong really helps prevent lower back pain. And I think often the entirety of the core is neglected in favor of more the aesthetic focus. And again, that's not wrong, but we need to, as people get older, what do they care about more? Is it having a six-pack, or is it having no low back pain? I'm pretty sure it's the latter. So it's not about not caring about looking good, like we're all human, but what kettlebells really do is build that strong core. And I think, for me, I've mentioned in other videos, a what the hell effect of kettlebells for me have been fixing any low back pain I was kind of starting to struggle with. And, kettlebells, especially because of the unilateral nature of kettlebells, which essentially means a lot of kettlebell movements, you just use one kettlebell, so you're training one side at a time. That really has, you really need to stabilize your core so your obliques get stronger, your conventional abs get stronger, your six-pack abs, but then also your lower back muscles get stronger. And that is so important for that core strength. A lot of times people hurt their core not from, lifting the heaviest thing, but sometimes it's like twisting in the shower, or like they're doing laundry and they like pull something. It's because the core needs to stabilize as it's moving through all these different ranges of motions in your day-to-day. And so with kettlebell training, because of that unilateral strength of building using one weight at a time often, you're building that entire core, you're preventing lower back pain, you feel really stable when doing all these movements I mentioned about, picking things up, putting them overhead, twisting. And you still build muscle in that whole ab area. So you will see some aesthetic benefits there that, can, if that's something you care about, tightening of that waist, seeing some ab definition, you'll still get all of that, but you'll kind of get a much more holistic core strength, not just, six-pack abs. And a lot of that anyways, if you really care about the aesthetics, a lot of that ends up coming to diet anyways. But that core strength is incredible. It's often lacking in our modern world. And that's not me saying it, from a place of, putting me on a pedestal. I had terrible core strength before kettlebell training. I would have low back pain. So I'm saying this as someone who the kettlebells have really helped me improve my core strength. So I get really excited to share those benefits. And the number one benefit of kettlebells for longevity is purpose. So this one might come as a bit of a surprise because, we've been talking about all these strength benefits and core benefits, but there's been a lot of research that shows that having a sense of purpose in life really helps you live a long and healthier life. And, I know this might sound weird, and I'm not saying kettlebells become your your new god, but, I think it's really important outside of, the really important things, obviously, like your family and your career, like family's number one, career is next for a lot of people. But I think also outside of those things, it's really important to have some type of hobby and passion and a sense of self-improvement that helps you grow. In some places where longevity has been studied, they have passions. They have, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's gardening, maybe it's, a sense of activities shared with the community. So it can be different for all people. But I think what kettlebells can do, either you might find a lot of passion for this, this sport, this activity of kettlebell training, and that just gives you a sense of passion. You just get excited to train. And I feel that. I feel like, this is my hobby that's just for myself, that I just enjoy doing on my free time. I get excited to try new movements. I get excited to get better at the movements I do regularly. And, it's just a passion of mine. And I think it's highly improved my quality of life and gives me a sense of purpose in my day-to-day, even though it's simple. It's, something just as simple as, hey, last week I walked, 1,000 steps. I could walk 1,000 steps with my 35-pound, 16 kg kettlebell. Maybe this week I can walk 1,100 steps. It's simple, but that gives a sense of purpose. And then the second way, maybe you don't get passionate about kettlebells itself, but you like the sense of self-improvement it gives you. Maybe you feel like it improves your discipline, your health, to play with your kids, or to be a more present family member or present coworker. That sense of self-improvement every time you go in the gym, you might not care about the kettlebell itself, but the self-improvement and purpose it fuels in the rest of your life can be so powerful. And, I think that is, that sense of purpose, and it can come in different forms through kettlebell training, is going to help you live a long and healthier life. So those are the top 5 benefits of kettlebells for longevity. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it inspired you to either start or continue your kettlebell training, and just make you reflect on, the bigger purpose of life. It's not just about, what you get out of, a 30-day challenge or even a 1-year challenge. What can kettlebells do for you for, the next 50 years or the next 20 years, or just, multiple decades, and how it can just help you live a good and happy life. So comment below your thoughts. I would love to hear. And next, I would love for you to watch another video. I think any one of these is going to benefit you in your kettlebell training and in your fitness journey. So I'll see you in one of these, and then I'll see you for the next one. Thanks so much for watching.